Good morning, everyone. I'm Wendy Wick Reaves, and it is my great pleasure to welcome our speakers, our moderators, and our audience for the second day of the Edgar P. Richardson Symposium, New Perspectives on Portraiture. As some of you know, if you attended yesterday, I've been working for the past 3 years on editing our new volume, Beyond the Face, one of the National Portrait Gallery's 50th anniversary projects. I'm very proud of the work of these scholars, and it's a very personal pleasure for me to welcome them today and to gather them together to share their research. And I would like to take a moment to commend all our speakers, not just for their scholarship and their well-crafted essays, but for their cooperation and good humor throughout. Thank you for enduring the periodic harassment about deadlines with such extraordinary grace. And I know our editor, Reese Conlon, joins me in that appreciation. Our speakers' talks for this symposium are drawn from those essays, and we have encouraged them to end their talks with a challenge or a question that might aid our further discussion. I would also like to thank our two moderators today, Clarke Lemay, historian at the Portrait Gallery and co-organizer of this symposium, and Asma Naim, who curated our two exhibitions, Unseen and Blackout, which you should make a point of seeing while you're here, and who is about to start a new job at the Baltimore Museum of Art. And a warm welcome to our audience as well. Thank you for joining us today and participating in this conversation about portraiture. This afternoon, after our final session, you are all invited to stay for a reception in the Kogard courtyard upstairs and to your left. The books will be on sale in the courtyard, and the authors will be happy to sign your copies at that time. And now, to start our morning, I would like to welcome our moderator, Clarke Lemay, to introduce our speakers. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm so excited to see you here today, and I am really pleased to introduce our speakers for our first panel. Before I do so, I just wanted to take a moment to describe what this symposium is part of. At the Portrait Gallery, we are launching a new scholarly center. Portal equals Portraiture plus Analysis, and I am the director of this scholarly center. And we have a roster of programs that we are really excited about, including this symposium. And I want to remind you who were here yesterday, and also perhaps announce to those of you who are here for the first time today, that there is a new Director's Essay Prize that is meant to support emerging scholars with an essay-length publication. And we're hoping to use programs like that to really encourage and support the field and study of portraiture, which is so important and which we all really love. So please keep your eyes peeled for future programs sponsored by Portal, and also keep your eye out and help us spread the word about the Director's Essay Prize, which was recently announced. The following papers offer fascinating case studies of how portraiture reflects an interiority and multi-dimensions of human relationships, as well as human character. Our first presenter, Akela Reason, will present her paper, Soul Searching, The Portrait in Gilded Age America. Dr. Reason is Associate Professor of History at the University of Georgia. She received her PhD from the University of Maryland, just up the street, in 2005. She's the author of Tom Sakin's and the Uses of History, and is currently working on a book-length study of Civil War commemoration in New York City. Our second presenter is Dr. Amy M. Mooney, who will present her paper titled Photos of Style and Dignity, Woodward Studios and the Delivery of Black Modern Subjectivity. Dr. Mooney is Associate Professor of Art and Art History at Columbia College in Chicago. Her publications include the monograph Archibald Motley Jr. and contributions to Archibald Motley, Jazz Age Modernist Black is Black inked, and Romary Bearden's in the modernist tradition. She's a recipient of the fellowships from American Council of Learned Societies, the National Portrait Gallery, and the Smithsonian American Art Museum, as well as the Terra Foundation for American Art. Our third presenter is Dr. Jonathan Frederick Walls. He will be presenting his paper, Side Eye, Early 20th Century American Portraiture on the Periphery. Dr. Walls is an expert on American modernism and director of curatorial affairs and curator of American art at the Columbus Museum in Georgia. His publications include a recent article, The Act of Portrayal and the Art of Dying, Charles Demuth Faces Mortality. And this appeared in an Italian journal that I cannot pronounce. So I apologize, Jonathan. He also has published This is a Portrait, If I Say So, Identity in American Art, 1912 to Today, which he co-edited with Kathleen Campanolo and Anne Collins Goodyear. Our fourth presenter is Richard H. Saunders, and his paper is titled Making Sense of Our Selfie Nation. He is the director of Middlebury College Museum of Art in Vermont and professor of history of art and architecture. And he has been trying to make sense of American portraiture for more than 30 years, and we love him for that. His publications include American Colonial Portraits, 1700 to 1776, with Ellen G. Miles, which accompanied the exhibition of the same name at this institution, the National Portrait Gallery, as well as John Smibert, Colonial America's first portrait painter. And finally, he published American Faces, A Cultural History of Portraiture and Identity. So each speaker is going to follow one another, so we ask that you hold your comments and questions until the panel discussion. And without further ado, please welcome Akela Reason.